Good evening, punters, and welcome to Anderson on the Box. We're so Christmassy tonight I can feel my wallet emptying already. Look at all our little tinsel. But we have a special show unfolding for you tonight, full of excitement, suspense, quality, and, frankly, glitter. Now, first, tonight, a man who's long been acknowledged as one of the finest actors in the theatre and on television. He then became widely known in films by playing alongside Daniel Day-Lewis in a film called You Know It Well, In the Name of the Father. He received an Oscar nomination for that. More recently, you've seen him as Montague Tigg in BBC Television's Martin Chuzzlewit. Please welcome Pete Postlewaite. Hello, Pete.
Hi, Gerry.
Nice to see you, sir.
Very nice.
I must confess, I never expected to meet such a snappy dresser.
Ah, well, you know, it's amazing what Marks and Sparks can do these days.
I know you've been involved in Cinemagic, which is why you're in Northern Ireland.
Yeah.
Where have you been and what have you been doing?
Well, I arrived this morning at about 8 o'clock, I think, this morning, and was whisked off eventually to Armagh to meet the 20 young people that we were doing a workshop with. They call it a masterclass, but I prefer to call it a workshop, really.
So what do you actually do with them?
Obscene things a lot of the time. No,
good.
No, we don't at all. No, we just try and work out what it is that makes the difference between acting and showing off, really. What is the difference?
Well, is there any small definition you could give as to what the difference is?
Yeah,
for the aid of thespians in the audience and watching?
I think there's. I'm very often asked what's the difference between doing a show which is a film or doing a theatre show.
Yeah.
In fact, I don't think there is any difference because we're just telling stories. So my idea with the young people that we were working with today was to try and get them to tell a story without letting themselves get in the way.
Okay.
That was the brief.
Well, you've obviously learned those lessons, as anyone watching Martin Chuzzlewit recently will know. It's brilliant. Did you have a lot of fun doing that?
A lot of fun. And they're great, rich,
I know.
beefy characters to play. They're beautiful. And if you can keep your concentration going and keep your belief going, people will go a long way in believing extraordinary characters, which they always are. But that's a delight. They're a delight to play, those things.
Yeah.
I mean,
Martin Chuzzlewit was an old, well, Montague Tigg, sorry, was an old rogue. Let's have a look at him conducting a little business.
The secretary's salary, David, that office now being established, is £800 per annum. House rent, coals and candles free, of course. Your 5 and 20 shares you continue to hold. Is that enough for you?
Quite enough.
And then I shall propose it at the board meeting. In my capacity as chairman.
Board meeting. You're a caution, Tig.
Say Montague, please, David. I should prefer you to address me as Montague, even in private. After all, I am chairman of the Anglo-Bengalee Disinterested Loan and Life Assurance Company. Shall we go down?
I've never seen that.
When that came on, you said to me, you whispered to me that you hadn't seen that.
No, I haven't seen that.
I find it amazing that you're something like that and you haven't actually seen it. How do you feel when you do see that?
I liked it. I thought it was all right. I just haven't had time. Haven't been here. Haven't been around.
Well, you can see it. I think the last episode is repeated. Isn't it next Sunday, I think?
Is it?
This Sunday. I mean, this Sunday.
This Sunday coming.
Okay.
Oh, that'd be interesting. I'm sure they're all taped somewhere, but...
Now, I was reading that Dickens himself actually would be a bit of a Montague Tigg because he acted a little himself, and the part that he apparently liked playing most of all was a kind of a scoundrel, good-natured...
Absolutely.
So he obviously loved writing.
Bobadil, in fact, one character called Bobadil in a play called Every Man in His Humour, which is a Johnson play.
Yeah.
And he loved playing that, and he's a broad, braggadocio, big, bossy kind of thing, who was absolutely weak, had nothing, you know, I mean, it's all show.
Yeah.
And he loved it. He did play, and played it more than once.
It's a great part.
Yeah.
What about the other parts? What about the people you're playing alongside, like Paul Scofield and John Mills? Brilliant.
It's delightful. It's one of the great rarities and one of the great pleasures of being an actor in this situation, that you actually can... I've admired Paul Scofield since I was knee-high to a grasshopper, I think, and then suddenly you find yourself working with him not once, but twice. I mean, he was actually the ghost in Zeffirelli's Hamlet, if you remember,
Yeah.
with Mel Gibson. And I was in awe of him then, And he immediately puts you at his ease, of course, or your ease. And to work with him on this, well, it was just great. It was just, you know, these are very private men who do extraordinary work.
Yeah, right. I'm going to say something to you now which you probably find a little odd. Now, I thought, I had...
No, I'm not free to
I
make
had... Even for a drink?
Yeah.
Now, I thought, I didn't know much about you. The first time I saw you was in The Name of the Father.
Mm-hmm.
I thought you were Irish. And I'll tell you why. Because both yourself and Daniel Day-Lewis had the best Belfast accents I have ever heard. Now, because I'm not saying anything against, anything against Belfast actors, but when they do play a Belfast part, they play a working class part, they have this stage Belfast accent, which is, nobody talks that way.
No.
I mean, that was some achievement. I mean, I really basically did think that you were Irish.
I don't, well, yes, a lot of people do. I mean, I've even talking to another filmmaker, another person who was trying to make a film last year. He said, I want you to do it. I want you to do this film. And he took it then to the head of the studios. And the head of the studios, who I had had dinner with personally, as me, said, you can't have Pete, he's from Northern Ireland. And you think, what? And so here's somebody who even thought that.
Yeah, I thought...
Quite how that...
Let's have a look at it first. I want to ask you something more about it now in a moment.
What are you doing here? I'll come over to your auntie and Alice to get you a lawyer. They arrested everybody in the house.
What?
Conspiracy to murder. Did you do it? Did you do it, son?
No, I did not.
Hey? Good accent. Now, you know, you and Daniel Day-Lewis, you go back a while, don't you? I think you go back as far as, what, the Bristol Old Vic?
Yeah, about 15 years.
So was he instrumental in you getting the part in that, or was it the other way around? I don't know.
I think no. I think Dan had an idea. I think he was certainly instrumental in introducing me to Jim. He said, I think you need to meet Pete, really. And Jim said, why? He said, well, I just think you do. You just need to meet him, and you'll know what I mean. So I think Dan set that up, and then Jim and I met. Well, Dan, Jim and I met, and it just carried on from there, really. Yeah. Very lucky. I mean, these are things that you daren't even dream about happening.
No.
And when they do...
Can I ask you once more about that accent thing? I know there's stories about Daniel Day-Lewis about how he immersed himself in the part and how he would get into a community and live and actually become that person for a long, long time to get that kind of authenticity that he has in the accent. What do you do? Or maybe you're just an actor.
Well, no, I think whatever means you need in order to get to the nub, the quality, the essence of what you want to do, you do. Knowing exactly how Dan was going to work, I actually did work in the same way on this.
Did you?
Yeah.
Because
the difference is...
Now, Giuseppe Conlon, I mean, you had the mannerisms. It's hard to stereotype, but you go into a pub in Belfast, I'd be a man, maybe a small man who'd be a little tetchy. And you had that man. Yeah. You must have met that man. You must have studied him.
Somehow or other, I don't know. It's a bit like my dad, I think. I mean,
but and the accent too.
The accent, well, that was due to many factors. One, actually coming up to Northern Ireland, to Belfast, and meeting Sarah. God bless her. Happy Christmas, Sarah, if you're watching. God bless. Doing listening exercises, really, just listening. And then Dan and I would work, like, for 2 weeks before we actually started shooting, in character and in voice, but not necessarily, you know, we'd go out for the evening as the two guys, and whatever happened. I mean, we've spent lots of times going out and not speaking all night.
Would you do that here in Belfast? Would you go out to a pub?
We didn't do it in Belfast.
What did you do?
We did it in Dublin.
You did it in Dublin? And you just became those people?
Yeah.
Oh, that's brilliant.
Yeah. And just tested it out and just saw what happened. And it's extraordinary because you do get another insight. You do get inside something that you can't do just by academic stuff. You've got to get your hands dirty. Right, good.
So what are you doing now? What have you done recently?
Recently, Slovakia for about 5 months, doing a film called Dragon Heart, which is the Lucas Spielberg, massive, big... Now, the people who brought you Jurassic Park, but this time, instead of a dinosaur, you're going to see a dragon with a 47-foot wingspan who speaks in the voice of Sean Connery.
Yes.
And Sean does the voice. And this character is alive and as real as the things, but he's on camera for 3 times as long as the dinosaurs in Jurassic Park.
Great. Has the Oscar nomination, has it upped your ante in the film world?
Yep.
All need to be said. Pete Postlewaite, thank you very much. Thank you.